If you had to set a monetary value on the work that you do and the experience that you bring to a job, what would that price be? That's what I want to talk about today. Hi, my name is Alan. I'm an actor and a writer living in New York City with my husband and our 18-year-old cat. Now, back in 1992, yes, many years ago, when I first moved to New York, I was working a lot of acting gigs, and in between those gigs, I was temping at various office jobs. And I remember at the time, the gold standard for me was $10 an hour, which today sounds comically low, but that was what I thought. If I could get that, I can pay my bills and I'll be okay. The thing is, after a year or so, I realized that I was still valuing myself at $10 an hour, even though I had accumulated a lot of experience and people asked to have me come back and work for them. They liked the work that I did. But where I should have been saying, well, now it's 12 bucks an hour, I was still discounting myself and thinking 10 was the best I could do. Also, around this time, in the acting jobs I was doing, I kept getting cast with this guy named Paul. And we ended up becoming lifelong best friends. He's like a member of my family now, all these years later. And Paul was the first person who talked to me about how you value yourself. And we had lots of philosophical conversations about this. Paul is one of those people, he's like a money magnet. He just puts it out there and the money just flows in. It's just mindset and it's his attitude. And I've learned a lot from him, but he said something very crucial to me at the very beginning of our discussions about this. And he said, Alan, the difference between us, it's not our talent, it's the fact that your parents always taught you to be grateful for whatever you could get. And he said, my parents always taught me I was worth $1 million. And I really took that to heart. I saw it in practice. I would, try to negotiate my acting contracts and would get basically the bare minimum. And he was negotiating deals for himself that were much better. And we were essentially doing the same kinds of jobs. And at the time, it felt really unfair. And I thought, it's just, why can't I do that? And the truth is, you have to see it for yourself first. You can't just rely on the world handing you what they think you deserve, because, of course, the employer is going to want to get you for as cheap as they can. And especially if you're really good at what you do, hey, that's a bargain for them. But it was Paul who really started teaching me, stop discounting yourself, ask for more. What's the worst that can happen? They'll say no, and then you have to be prepared to walk away. And if things are tight and you need the job and you can't afford to walk away, that's different. You have to be smart. You know, Accepting a few $100s less for a gig is much better than having nothing and having bills pile up. So you have to take care of yourself in that way too. But as Paul told me, you've got to change the way you think of yourself. You've got to say, I'm worth $1 million. And by the way, he has turned that into a lifestyle. He is doing very well. And I'm not going to, give you any specifics, but it has paid off for him very, very well. And me, I'm doing okay too, but it's taken me a lot longer. And I am getting to the place where I'm finally at 61 years old saying, this is what I'm worth. So that is what I want you to do for yourself. Don't discount yourself. Don't tell yourself that you don't deserve it. And while you're at it, go out, do some random acts of kindness for people, because that also gets things flowing. And the more good you send out, the more good that comes back to you. Thank you as always for watching. It really means a lot to me. And I will see you on the next one. Until then, you have a beautiful day. Bye-bye.